This video will demonstrate faux finish using the brush blending method. Try to always do a sample either on site or on a sample board so that there are few surprises when the job actually begins. Keep good notes regarding your sample so that you can repeat the process. Typically we use a solid color base. Light color base will allow you to have more dramatic looks. A darker color base will give you a more subtle look. In this case we're going to be using a base that already has a little bit of modeling on it. Here we want to demonstrate how some of the base will show through the translucent stains. Okay, we want to use fairly good quality brushes, ones that aren't going to be losing bristles. In this method we use concentrated color and fairly light moisture. Mix the colors in small quantities because a little bit goes a long way. Also, the life of the product after mixing is about 3 hours, so you don't want to mix too much and not be able to use it. We need one brush for each of the colors that we'll be using. Vacuum off each of the brushes so that they are clean, and also label them well so that you can tell at a glance which brush is for which color. Remember to keep your colors well mixed. Use a paintbrush to apply stain to a portion of the board. We don't use the round brushes for this because we do not want the bristles to become overly saturated. Each of the round brushes will need to be conditioned. In the beginning, the brushes will soak up almost all the moisture. Keep applying moisture until some of the moisture stays in place. Apply the stain using quick, tight, circular motions. Draw out the stain after you apply it so that you have a very thin layer of coloring on the surface. Notice that we're going to use a second round brush for the second color. Do the same process. Spread out the color. Note that you want to go through some of the other color with your brush. This will give you a soft blending effect. Using this method and NewLook's translucent stains, you will need to keep a wet edge. What we typically think of here is, as far as patterns go, is just try not to make a pattern. Try not to make a straight line. Try not to blob the same colors together in a big area. Just think about making irregular shapes and letting the colors just softly blend into each other. There will be times when you want to create patterns, you'll want to create veins, you'll want to highlight certain areas. We're not really going over that in this video, but we will be talking about that more in upcoming videos. One thing to make note of here is that it can be helpful to have someone around while you're putting down the color, and they can help you see areas that you're missing and avoid some of the mistakes that you might have to touch up after the fact. Notice that kind of harsh brown edge there. Here we just soften that up a little bit. Keep moving the brush around, keep spreading out the moisture. Also, one thing that we've learned here is that this method doesn't work with all colors. We find that with grays in particular, this process doesn't seem to work very well. The grays tend to turn out very dark and look almost dirty. So this tends to work better with browns and reds and tans, but not so much with the grays. We have other application processes that we use when we're working with the gray colors. Okay, for this sample board, that's pretty much it. Notice that you can see some of the base color showing through here, some areas of dark that we had on the original base. Thanks for joining us, and look for our other videos with tips on doing the blending brush process.